Now we have, well, a regular at the, good afternoon Matthew, at the, got Mick with him as well, at the Rempstone Steam Engine Rallies. This is a Clayton and Shuttleworth 1911, built at Lincoln, owned by Michael Beebe of Rempstone. This one went new to a farmer called George Crickwell of Ruddington. And in 1932 it was acquired by Edward Beebe, and it's remained in the family since. Travels to quite a number of steam engine rallies over the summer months. Following on behind the Clayton, we have a McLaren traction engine that's owned by Steve Arrowsmith of Barkland and Ewood. This McLaren traction engine was built in Leeds in 1882. It has a maker's number of 127, and it went new to Dalgetty Estates in Hampshire. It was acquired from the estate by one Mr. John Crawley. That might be yes. One John Crawley for preservation in 1963. It was acquired by Steve Arrowsmith in 1994, and it's subsequently been rebuilt. New boiler firebox were fitted by Mr. Fred Dockeray of Longwatton. Travels to all its events on the road. By Mr. Collis of Kettering. It was converted to a showman's tractor in 1935, and it worked on the fairgrounds. It's the works number of 14066 and has been in the Dawson family of Bicker in Lincolnshire since 1960. Right, well now we have, good afternoon Peter, we have a borrow traction engine, which is one of those that's a first time appearer at Rempstone Rally. And it's nice to have the Reverend Peter Green from North Kelsey in Lincolnshire with us with this particular 6 nominal horsepower borrow traction engine. This is the only one of 8 Aberdeenshire type engines to survive into preservation. It has a maker's number of 2933 and went new in 1907 to E.W. Bloomfield of Stowmarket in Suffolk, as you can see from the canopy top. In preservation, it spent many years as part of the C.C. Russell collection at Borden in Hampshire. It was acquired in late 2006 by Peter Green, and it's having a rare visit out of Lincolnshire, but we're very pleased to have it with us this weekend at Rempstone. Enjoying the rally, Peter? Well, we've got the thumbs up, so we must be all right. Right, now we have the larger engines on the site today. These are ploughing engines. We'll show you how the ploughing engines works later on in the day. The first one is a Type BB ploughing engine. It was built at Leeds in 1917. Works numbers 14375. And it's of 16 nominal horsepower. It's one of a pair that went new to wards of Carrington Grange in Lincolnshire. Then in the 1930s it went to H.J. Rose of Caxton in Cambridgeshire, and it was acquired by the late Gordon Fleer in 1976 and fully restored. And it still remains in the Fleer family with Ethan Fleer, who is a current owner from Curtin Lindsay in Lincolnshire. Goodness me, is that man safe with that guy? He needn't laugh. Oh, it's all on the regulator. Right, well, following on behind the compound, we have a single cylinder ploughing engine. We'll probably give you an idea of how these work later on in the afternoon. Now, yesterday I had the privilege of watching this particular engine travel some 22 miles from Elveston Castle Rally along the highways and byways of Leicestershire. And I can tell you, we think it was doing 8 to 10 miles an hour, and it's no mean feat. But this one worked from new in 1875, and it went to Derbyshire Steam Cultivating Company in Derby. And then it went to Angraves and Burroughs, later to become Beebe Brothers of Rempstone. It was sold as a kit of parts in 1988 when restoration started in Cornwall. This has been carried on by the gentleman you can see steering, Guy Debs, of Chapel Edward Crick. The engine has the works number of 2528. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Wright is safe with engines. Behind the single-cylinder ploughing engine, we have Dave Harden with a Foster tractor called Iconopy, an Icanopy. This particular Foster tractor, although not sold until 1930 to Chivers Devisers for timber haulage, was built in 1920 as a two-speed engine. In a bid to try to sell it, a third speed was added in 1927. The engine has the works number 14608 and it entered preservation in 1954, and it's been with Dave Harding since 1976. Right, well now we have one engine making a return to Rempstone Rally, followed by one making its debut. As you can see, there's a lot of work goes in restoring one of these engines, and Joe Walker from Derby's got a bit of a job on there, but I'm sure that in 4 or 5 years we'll see something special. The engine towing Joe's, and I'll tell you about Joe's engine in a minute. The engine pulling Joe's engine round was built in 1918 by Fowler's, works number 15323. And this is one of Fowler's A9 type road locos, and it was built for the War Office. In 1920 it was sold to Samuel Jackson of Wistats and Crewe, who used it for haulage work until 1946. And it was first rallied by John Reynolds of Tickle, Doncaster in the 1950s. And it was acquired by Graham Love of Crich. Graham used to steer the engine for John Reynolds, and it was owned by him up until last year, when David Ainsworth from Tibshelf purchased it. Right now, Joe's engine, this particular engine was used by Oliver and Partington, paper makers from Glossop, and it was used to haul timber and paper products to and from the station there between 1917 and 1960. It's a T3 type Fowler tractor, and it's been with the current owners Dave and Sue Cope from Cromford since 1988. It was built in 1917, that's the works number 14805. Right, now we have Robert Tyler from What in the Vale. Robert owns this Fowler T3 tractor, which went new to F.H. Cook of Spalding in 1918, before passing to Mr. Barnsdale, who lived near Boston. It was acquired by Robert as a kit of parts from the Storer sale in Lincolnshire in 1966 and fully restored. It has the works number of 15288. Right, now we have Robert's... Oh, I've got a bit of smoke there. Robert's other engine. This was built in 1924 with the works number 15970 by Fowler's. From new until 1968 it worked for the Mechanical Spraying and Grouting Company of Reading. It was first preserved in its steamroller form in Hampshire, and then it went to Derbyshire design at Chapel and Frick. Then it passed on to Reading.